Muted.
Uh, as a string forms, string class is one of the most widely used and frequently used class in Java. We need special attention to string. So we'll discuss about string today and see two more string related classes, string buffer and string builder. Okay. So let us get started. So today we'll be discussing about string handling. Last class we discussed about generics, different ways of generics, and how we could use generics with the methods, interfaces, inheritance, and all those things. Okay. So what is a string? We've already saw what are strings. Means like what is a string, and we've used strings quite a number of times in all our lab exercises, right? Whatever the programs that we have seen. So as we discussed in previous classes, it is just a sequence of characters. Okay, it is just a sequence of characters. So in other languages like C or C++, this is just a reference. Okay, the strings are implemented using character arrays. Strings are implemented using character arrays, but in Java they are implemented using string objects. They are implemented as classes or string objects. Okay, they are implemented as objects, similar to how arrays are implemented in Java. Okay, so strings are called as immutable classes in Java. We will see with an example what does that immutability means. Okay, immutability means, but this will not be a restriction for us. We will see why this is not a restriction also. Okay, but if you want a string that you can modify, okay, that you can modify, we have corresponding string classes, that is string builder and string buffer classes. Okay, so all these classes, string buffer and string builder, are defined in java.lang package, and all the three classes are final classes. What does a final class mean? Can anyone tell me what does a final class mean? We can apply the keyword final to final in three places, right? In three different ways. Yes, exactly. Correct, Shravanti. Yeah, we cannot instantiate. Cannot be instantiated. Yes, yeah, correct. So we cannot. That's a class which is final. You cannot inherit, and you cannot make any modifications to that particular class, right? That is a final definition of a class. Definition and declaration. Okay, whatever you call it. But string is immutable. That means once you create a string is nothing but string is nothing but sequence of characters, right? Okay. Even with this is a string literal. Okay, this is a string literal. String literal. Okay. Once you create a string object, even a string literal will create a string object. Okay. Once you create a string literal, you cannot modify the contents of that particular string. This is a string object. Okay. This is a string object. Once you create immutable means that only you can't change the contents. You can't change the contents. Okay. So string str. Okay, hello. Okay. What are the contents? HELLO are the contents of str. Okay. So str is pointing to this particular memory location, for example, say 1. Address of this memory location is 1. Okay. So if you want to make any changes to this particular string, you will not be able to make it. the contents cannot be changed. Okay, the contents cannot be changed. But if you want to change the contents of this particular string, we can do that. Okay, we can do that. But now string will be pointing to different address location. Say for example, the address location of this is 2. Okay, now this will be pointing to 2, not 1. Okay, every time whenever you make a modification to particular create a string, right, that will create a new string object. That will create a new string object. This is just a string. Okay, we are not talking about string builders or string buffer. Okay, we are talking about string object. String object. Okay, so that is why string class is immutable. Okay, contents we cannot change, but the reference, that is a reference variable, right? Reference variable can refer to different references, object references. Okay, a reference variable can change. That's what is happening here. This is a reference variable, right? String reference variable. So what is happening? First it was referring to 1, but after making the change, now it is referring to 2, right? But whatever the string that is there in this particular location, that was not modified. That was left just like that. Okay, now this is pointing to this one. This is lost. This particular string is lost. Okay, like that. So that is why we call it as strings are immutable. Okay, let us see an example how we can confirm that the string is immutable. Okay. 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 Here we have a program, immutable strings. Okay. I have declared one string reference variable and assigned a string hello. Okay. So let us try to run this program, and then I will explain what exactly is happening. Okay. Okay. In any object, we have a class called object, right? That which is a superclass of all the classes. Superclass of all classes. Okay. We have object class. Okay. That has one method declared in it, toString method. Okay, toString method. This toString method can be applied to primitive types, that is wrapper types of primitive types. Okay, and objects. In fact, there is a method called toValue. Okay, that is called on primitive types, but for objects, toString method is called. Okay, so whenever you try to print an object, say for example object reference, okay, reference variable, okay, hello, say for example for string hello, whenever you try to print an object reference, for example you have object reference of object as obj is equal to new object. Okay, when you try to print this object, what happens is you will see as we have seen this particular example in one of our previous classes. Okay, what it prints is it prints the class, a fully qualified class name fully qualified class name @ hex code of hash code. There's a method called hash code, which gives the hash code of that particular object. Okay, and the toString default implementation of toStrings, which is there in your object class, right? That will give you the fully qualified name of class name @ hex code of hash code. Okay, hex code of hash code. Whatever the hash code you get, that will be converted into your hex code, and then it will be returned. Okay, so that will be your object reference. That is what your class reference or string references or any object reference will contain. Okay, when you try to print it, that is what the default implementation of toString is provided for us. But that is overloaded for string to just print string. Okay, toString will, whenever you try to print toString, a string, toString will print the same string, whatever you are trying to print. We have seen so many times, right, in system.out.println. Okay, print line. Okay, but for other objects, which are the objects that you create, the default implementation is implemented using like this one, fully qualified class name @ hex code of hash code. Okay, so let us see what happens when we try to print the object reference of hello. Object means string reference of hello after assigning hello. Okay, this is our string. We have assigned this particular string to this object reference, string reference. We can call it a string reference. Okay, so we are trying to print the reference. That is what we will. That is what is stored in this particular string. Okay, that is what is stored in this particular string. Okay, that is what we are manually trying to print using these methods. Okay, this will give the fully qualified name of your class, and @ we are adding, and then there is a, we know that this is a integer class, that we have toHex string method which takes an integer. Okay, hash code will return. Hash code is also defined in your object class. Okay, so you can call hash code on any object because the object is a superclass of all classes, right? So you call hello hash code, that will be converted into hex string. Okay, that will be appended to this @, which again will get appended to this get name. Okay, so this will be our string reference for hello first time when we create it. Create and assign a string hello. Create and assign hello. This will be the string reference of this one will be this one first time when we create it. Okay, so notice this part. All other part will be same. Okay, now what are we doing? We have changed. Okay, we have changed the contents of hello. Now this will be the reference of string now, hello now. Okay, that means is referring to 5E918D2. Okay, now we are in hello. How are you? Okay, there is a beautiful song by one lady singer, hello song. Have anyone of you heard that song? Okay, so so this is our reference 98.4E74E2. Okay, now this is referring to this particular location. Okay, now we have changed this to hello. Remember, H is capital letter, uppercase letter. Okay. Now again the reference has changed. Okay. Again the reference has changed. That means now we have this particular string. Hello. Okay. This one is 42628B2. Okay. Assume that this is address of a particular string. Okay. Address of a particular string. Okay. And then again we assign this hello back to this one. So notice that you got the string back. So this is our this string. Okay. So whenever you change the contents of a string, whenever you try to change the contents of a string, a new string object is created. Okay. Whenever you try to change the string, a new string object is created and corresponding reference is assigned to the reference variable. Okay. Notice that here, excuse me. Notice that here the contents of hello are changing. In the sense, the reference variable value is changing. Reference variable value is changing, but the string itself is not changing. Okay, the string itself is not changing. See here, you can easily note this point here. Say, first time I have assigned hello to this. Okay, so this is the address location of this one. Okay, reference of this string. Okay, now at the last, after making all those changes, right, I have assigned the same string to this string, this reference variable. So this the reference of this one, if you can consider that as the address of address location of a memory address location, that is 5E918D2. Okay, in this location we have hello. Okay, in this location we have hello. Whenever we assigned this particular string to this reference, okay, it is having the same address. 5E91D82. Okay, so even though we are changing the strings which is referred by this hello, it is creating new string object, and correspondingly the address location of that string is changing, but the string itself is not changing. Say for example, if you want to assign the same string, let us take one more example. I want to assign this string. Okay, let us note the reference of this particular string. Okay, let us not go to that one. Let us assign this. Okay, so you can notice, okay, the address of this string is this one. Okay, now the address of this string is this one. Can you notice the address, that is 42628B2. Here also it is 42628B2. So whatever is there in this location, right, that has not changed. Okay, whatever is there in this location, that has not changed. That is why strings are called as immutable. Okay, we cannot change the string once it is created, the contents of string. Okay, we cannot change the contents of a string once it is created, but reference variable can refer to different references. Okay, yeah. If anyone has any doubts regarding this one, please let me know. Otherwise, we can continue. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so we have when we need to create an object, obviously we'll have different constructors associated with this, right? So similarly, we have different constructors for constructing strings. Okay, this is one string. This is a default constructor. This creates empty string. So it takes the second one takes character array. So based on that character array, it will create a string. Okay, it initializes the string with this particular character array. Okay, third one will take character array. We can specify the start index. We know that an array will have index, right? Arrays are indexed. Index, right? Starts from 0 to whatever the length. Okay, so you can specify specific index and the number of characters from that particular index. Okay, say for example, I have an array. Okay, this index of j is 0. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. Okay, if I want to create a string Java, I can just call string of, say this is chars. Okay, is equal to this one. Chars. I can just put chars. That will create a string and initialize that string with Java. Okay, or if you want only VA, we can do with start index and then number of characters. We have only 2 characters, this one and this one, so we can specify 2 here. Or if you want from here and 3 characters, you can specify 1 to 3 characters. Okay. So here, string can be initialized with byte arrays as well. Okay. So byte is nothing but 8 bits, right? So in Java, all are Unicode characters. All characters are Unicode characters. That is 16-bit. Okay. ASCII characters are your 8-bit characters. Okay. So similar to what we have for Unicode characters, we have bytecode characters, ASCII characters, the same methods. Okay. It will take a byte array. It will take byte array and start index and then number of characters, whatever you want. Okay. Not only that one, we can create string object with 2 string classes that we just got introduced, that is a string buffer and string builder as well. Okay, so the main difference between the string builder and the string buffer is this is synchronized, builder is not synchronized. Okay, so we will see what does that synchronization means. Okay, let's move on. Okay, you can try. We know how to create objects right now. So I have created a couple of programs. They're just simple programs. Okay, I will not be explaining too much about those things. So here I have tried to create different objects, different string objects with respect to this one. What is that? Constructor. This is empty constructor. This is string literal. Okay. So string objects are created even when you use string literals. Okay. This is with your empty string. This is initialized with your string. Okay. This is initialized with your character array. we have sent it here, and then 1 to 2 characters, only from index 1 and 2 characters, okay? And then that is we are trying to print here, and then byte array, we have created byte array, and then trying to print it, okay? You can go to online API and refer to any other constructors that are there, and if you have any doubts regarding those things, you can send me an email, okay? intuition.javatraining@gmail.com. Okay, here if you notice 0, 1, 2, 3, okay? So it starts from 1 and we need 2 characters, 1 and 2, AV, okay? We are able to see AV here. So that is what we are trying to print here, right? Okay, that is what we are trying to print here. That is why AV, okay? Okay, let's move on. So sequence of characters, character values are nothing but your string literals, okay? So we have seen and used many times the concatenation operator, right? So it is implicitly means it is built in Java itself. This particular operator plus is overloaded. Okay, implicit. If you know, if you know how Java is built, that is Java is built using C++ only. Okay, complete Java is built using C++. So C++ has a feature called operator overloading. Okay, you can do this operator overloading in C, but not in Java. But for this particular operator, they have provided concatenation functionality, string concatenation functionality by overloading plus operator. Okay, so we cannot do that in the functionality in Java. Okay, so when will that be? When will other data types be converted into a string? If one of the operands, you have operand 1 and operand 2. If either of one is a string, the other will be converted to string and then appended to, both are appended together, okay, concatenated together. Okay, so let us discuss about string conversions and toString, okay. This one, I want all of you to refer and come back to me if you have any doubts. Okay, just a high level view I will give you, okay. Value of and toString, how they are related, okay. This method is used to convert any data type into its string representation during concatenation, okay. Whenever you use plus operator, this particular method will be called, that is value of, okay. This is defined in, as I mentioned before, this is implemented or defined in your just object no, in your string class, okay, in the string class, okay. And I'm a bit confused here. I think this is in your object class only, okay. For string it is overloaded. It is overloaded for simple types and objects, okay. It is overloaded for simple types and objects. Any method that is defined in your string is string class is the final method, okay, because class itself is final, right? You cannot make any changes. You cannot inherit and override or you cannot make any changes to that particular class. That is why, right? But we are overloading. We are overloading value of two other objects. So it is. I think it is defined in the object class. Okay. So it is overloaded for simple types and objects. Okay. For simple types, what does this return? It returns the equivalent value of whatever the type that you use. For example, for integer, if you have I, so if you try to print I, say for example, print line string plus I, okay, I is 10. So value of method is called, and then the string representation of this particular value, that is 10, will be returned, and that is appended to string. It will become 10, string 10. Okay, but for objects, toString method will, the value of method will call toString method. Okay, value of method will call toString method. Okay, so this is defined in your okay object. So let us see what is the functionality of that one. Oh, sorry. Okay. So every class implements toString method because that is defined in your object class. Okay. So the default implementation, as we just discussed, okay, the default implementation is like your fully qualified class name, okay, @ hex string of your hash code, object hash code. Okay, hex string of your object hash code. That is the default implementation. Okay, so that is what we call it as object reference. So whatever, if you try to print some object reference which does not implement toString method, okay, which does not implement toString method, this will be that will be printed. That object will be printed in this format. Okay, that object will be printed in this format. So it is always advised. Okay, so it is always better to override toString method. Okay, it is always override toString method for whichever the class you create. Okay, whichever the class you create, which provides meaningful information about that particular class. So shows meaningful information about that particular class. Let us see an example. Okay. Okay, just close this. toString. Okay. So we have one class called myClass. Okay. This does not implement. So I have commented out this particular part. Okay. This does not implement toString method. Okay. We have one test class, toString test class. Let us run this. Okay. I'm trying to print this class. Means trying to print this object. Okay. So let us try to see what is the response we got. What is the output actually? Okay. So when we try to print this MC, that is this myClass object. Remember, myClass does not implement toString method. Okay. So when you try to print it, the default implementation is what? Fully qualified class name @ the hex string of hash code. That is what is printed here. Okay. When you try to print it. Okay. 5878 AE82. Okay. The same thing I try to print it using whatever the thing that I used before. MC getClass.getName @ integer.toString of MC hash code. Okay, MC hash code. That also resulted in same string. Okay, session 36.toString.myClass @ 5878 AE82. Okay, this is your package name. This is your class name @ this is your hex string. Okay, that is what you got it. When you try to print this MC, okay, that is, it does as of now it does not implement your toString method. Okay, let us try to uncomment this. Let us uncomment this. Okay, let us uncomment this and run it. Okay, so now it prints. What have we done in this? It has two instance variables, I and D, and we are trying to print the values of I and D. Okay, and the name with the name of the class and values of I and D. Okay, so here the default values, we have not passed any parameters here, 10 and 20.5, that is what is getting printed here. 10 and 20.5. Okay. Okay, 10 and 20.5. But since we are printing that raw reference, here it is it has not changed. Okay. So take another example. We have seen box object, right? Private double int with, okay, and then default, and then with values. Okay. So here what we have done, we are trying to print the dimensions. Okay, we are trying to print the dimension. Okay. So when we ran this program, we have created two objects. One is default one, other one with parameters. Okay, constructor parameters. So you can see the result. It's called the toString method. Whatever we overloaded or overridden toString method, because we are providing a different implementation for the same method from object class. Okay, that is overriding. Okay, so that is how you print it. Otherwise, it is similar to how this is printed. Okay, the reference will be printed for box as well. Okay. Okay, so that is what is about the toString method. Signature of toString method, and let us go to it returns a string, and toString you can call like how we have called here. Okay, so now whenever you whenever the other string is whenever the other operand of this concatenation operator is string, the toString method will be called for the other operand. Okay, it could be other string, or it could be any other data type. Okay, for objects. So let us see how character can be extracted out of a particular string. Okay, string provides various methods to extract characters. So what are the different methods that we have? Caret, we can specify index. Okay, so it returns a character. Say for example you have okay you have, oh sorry, this is not a array, Java. Okay, this is your string. So this is your 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, say for example you say char at 0. This will return J. 1 means this will return this. 3 means this will return this. Okay, so if you try to access from 4, it will return array index out of bounds exception. Okay, we know what are exceptions, right? So it will return array index out of bounds exception. So there are something called as get. One more method is get chars. Okay, so it will take integer starting index, and then how many characters you want, and then it will store those characters, extracted characters from the invoking string to this particular array. Okay, starting from arrays index. Say for example you have an array of 10 characters, and you have string Java. Okay, you want to extract Java 4 characters and put it here. Okay, so you can say this is the array, and starting index is 0, and that will be like here it will have 10. You can store 10 characters in this, but it will store 4 characters. Okay, the rest of them will be none, empty characters. Okay, we have get bytes. This will return a byte array. Similarly, we have 2 char array. This will return character array, which contains the characters of invoked string. Okay, invoked string. Let us see an example. So here we have one string. It contains Java training. So if you want to print only 4, this simple one, I have printed at each location whatever the characters. Okay, using caret method. Okay, and then we have created a character array, and then we have read 4 characters from that array and stored in this substring. Okay, we are trying to print that using this statement, and then we have created byte array, and we have used get bytes to store characters in 8-bit characters. Okay, so Unicode characters are converted into 8-bit characters in this case. Okay, and we are trying to print those things. So here we have created character array, and then we have used getChar, and this is the destination or the array to which we are passing the characters. Okay, from zeroth index up to string length. Okay, so let us run this program and see. Okay, so this is your first 4 characters printed by these things. This is your 4 characters. Okay, these 2 are your all characters, whatever you have printed. Okay, these are your characters. So you are printing the characters here in these 2 cases. Okay, so let us move on. Okay, so there are you can compare one. We have seen a couple of examples, right? Equals method to compare 2 strings. Okay, similar to that one, we have multiple other methods to compare 2 strings and substrings within a string. Okay, equals we know how to compare. So we have one string hello dot equals hello. Okay, you can call that way. So there is another method equals ignore case. Okay, it ignores case. In that case, hello and hello are equal. But with equals, this is not equal. Okay, for that matter, is also not equal. Okay, in this case. But for the equals ignore case, we are ignoring the case. So any combination of hello will be equal. Okay, returns true. These 2 methods return true when both the strings are equal, including in this case, including your cases. In this case, ignoring your cases. Okay. Say for example, you have one string and you want to check whether that particular string starts with say for example something you want to verify starts with hello. Okay, starts with hello. You can use this particular method. Okay, if you want to specify, say for example you are querying a particular directory. Okay, you are querying particular directory for .java files only. Okay, so you can check that ends with .java. Can provide that as string. Okay, ends with .java. There is another method called region matches. This is used for within a string. We can compare different regions. Okay, different regions to check whether they are same. Okay, you try these things. These are all very simple methods. Okay, you can try all these things. Okay, try, and if you have any doubts, let me know. We can discuss those things. Okay, so let us see the difference between equals and equal. Okay, the main difference that you should remember is this is a method. Equals is a method, and this is an operator. Okay, this is an operator. So there is a difference between in primitive types and objects. Okay, there is a difference. So in case of this one, equals when you apply that to your string objects, it compares individual characters to check whether both the strings are same or not. Okay, equals method compares individual characters between 2 strings. Okay, but equals, it compares 2 object references to confirm whether they both refer to the same object. Okay, to confirm whether both objects refer to the same object. Okay. So if you see the difference, right, between primitive types and objects with respect to your equals operator. Okay. So what is it doing? It is comparing the contents of a variable. Okay. With respect to objects, object references or reference variables will contain addresses. With respect to object, reference variables contain references to object. Okay, that is what is compared when you use equal to operator with objects, not the contents in the location. Okay, but equals will you can overload equals method for each object. Okay, each object you can overload whatever the object that you want to compare. Okay, whatever the compare for equality, right? You can override this method and override that method for your requirement. Okay, whatever the requirement that you want. Okay, based on that one, you can override it. But with respect to string, it compares individual characters to see whether both the strings are equal. Okay. So we've discussed compare to method in previous two classes. Not previous two classes. In I think last class also we discussed, and previous that class we have discussed this, right? The compare to method. So this is basically used for sorting a set of strings. Okay, not only for that, but you can use this to sort a set of strings or an array of strings. Okay, try to use this to take some strings, number of strings, and use any sorting algorithm and try to sort the strings in the particular array. Okay, using compare to method. So we know that when you use compare to method, the result will be the return type is always int. The result will be positive, 0, or negative, as we discussed in our last session. Okay, similar to compare to, we have compare to ignore case. Okay, compare to ignore case. That is what we have seen for equals and equals ignore case. So it is same. Okay, similar to equals ignore case, we have compared to ignore case. If both the strings are equal, then that will return 0. Okay, that will return 0 irrespective of the case, character cases. Okay, so try to implement all these methods and let me know if you are facing any difficulties in all these methods, or if you have any confusions, or if you need any clarification on any of these methods. Okay, so let us see. So you have one particular string, Java. Okay, so you want to search for a index of you want to search whether a particular character A exists in this string. Okay, that you can do using index of method by passing a character. Okay, not only that one, this will always return first occurrence of your specified character. First occurrence of your specified character. But if you want to find out the last occurrence of specified character, we have two indexes right here, indices. That is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, if you want to search for A, we have two indices here, 1 and 3, right? Which one do we want? The first index or the last index? In between, there may be some other. You can take any other string that will have okay. So here, this is first index. This is middle, we will not worry about that. This is the last index. Okay, that's how you can find out the first index. That's how you can implement index and index of and last index of methods. Okay, it has following what to say, different implementations, overloaded methods. Not only characters you can pass strings as well. Okay, say for example, if you have Java, here's a Java language. Okay, if you want to search for Java string, index of will give first index of this particular string. So if you want the last index of Java, it will give the index of this particular character, string. Okay, so similarly, we can specify the character and the start index. If you want to start from here and give the index of this one, you can specify that index here. Okay, similarly, you can specify last index here and search for Java, which will return nothing. Okay, -1. If a particular character substring is found, you will get that this method will return that particular string. Otherwise, it will return -1. Okay, so this is similar to your string. Okay, so let us see. These are methods for modifying a string. Okay, so remember, whenever we try to modify, a new string object is created. Whenever we try to modify, a new string object is created. Okay, so we have different methods, substring. So if you have Java, I want BA, so I can specify start index, that is 2. 2 to, you can specify 2. Okay, 2 means it will start from 0, 1, 2 till last characters, whatever is that. Okay, it will return this substring. Substring start index and end index. If you want substring from here to here, you can specify 1 to 3. Okay, it will give 1, 2, 3 characters. Okay, that is you can specify start index and end index. So there is another method called concat method. It is similar to your concatenation operator. This is a method. This is operator. Okay, so it concatenates to our multiple strings. Okay, similar to like how we can use it is Java dot concat learning. Okay, this will return the Java learning. Okay, these are all very simple methods. That's why I'm explaining it very fast. I'm not showing all the examples and all. Okay, I have written a couple of examples for some of the things, but not for all the things. Okay, for comparison, I will share all these things, but you can go through these things, how to use those methods. Okay, with this you can kind of like, so here we have 3 strings. So how you can use equals, S1 equals, S1 and S3. You can use equals ignore case also. So if you run this, you can see. So hello are equal, hello are not equal. This is using your equal method. Okay, hello are equal, ignoring the case, that is equals ignore case. Hello are also equal because we are ignoring the case. Okay, similar to that one you can implement. That's why I'm explaining all the methods very fast. Okay, I'm not explaining too much. Okay, so changing the case of a character, we have 2 methods, 2 uppercase and 2 lowercase. Okay, and that also returns string, as all these methods return string. These 2 methods return string. So if you say Java dot to uppercase, this will return JAVA, this string. Okay, 2 lowercase, obviously it will return 2 lowercase. Okay, so please stop me if at all you are not understanding any of the things. Okay, I mean if you don't understand any of the methods, how it works, please stop me. Okay, So I'll tell you why strings will become so important. Okay, I'll tell you one simple example. I am working on one particular application. Okay, that is not in Java as such. It is in C or C++. Okay, that is in C or C++. So what is happening in that particular application is we will get it is totally C and C++ application. Okay, so what happens is we get a particular flat file from upstream application. Application, okay. That is like we get the feed from give me a second. We get the flat file or feed from upstream application, okay, and then we have to pass. We have to process that flat file. Okay, we have to process that flat file. Okay, we have to process that flat file. There are so many processes that are going on with respect to that flat file that will have n number of fields. Okay, that since this is a flat file, all the fields are separated by subspace or whatever it is. Okay, we will process it. That application will process this data, convert the data into different formats. Okay, convert the data into different formats, and also feed the data to database. Okay, and then so many processes are done in that C or C++ code. Okay, but if you see that code, right, that will be like say they would have used the structures, they would have done so many things. Okay, if you want to convert that application into in Java with these string methods, you can do wonders. Okay, say for example you have 100 lines of code in C++ file. Okay, C or C++ file. Okay, those 100 lines of codes you can reduce it to some 20-25 lines of code with these string methods. Okay, not only this one, you will see n number of places. Almost all the applications will be using one or the other these string methods. Okay, at least for the sake of printing your log, right? We will use strings, not exactly string, the other variants of string, that is your string buffer or string builder, based on your what exactly you are doing. Okay, if it is a shared resource, we will not go for a string, or if it is a threaded application, we will not go for string buffer. We will not go for string builder, we will go for string buffer. If at all that is a shared resource being accessed by multiple threads. Okay, we will discuss about what is a shared, all those things when we discuss about threads and concurrency. Okay. So similarly, concatenation, we know it concatenates two strings. Okay, and the replace, we can specify a particular character and search for that character. It searches a string for a particular character. Say for example, I want to replace A with B. Okay, V. So it searches for a specified character and replaces with the replacement character. Okay, trim, it will remove leading and trailing white spaces. Say for example, you have a string Java and you have 1 space, 2 space, and 1 space, 2 space here. Okay, you want to remove these spaces after reading this string. So you can say 1 space, 2 space, Java dot trim. Okay, this will give you Java string. Okay, there are no spaces leading or trailing spaces. Okay, this is your trim method. So changing two cases, two uppercase and two lowercase, you can use it. Okay. So let us move on to string buffer. Okay, so we know that string is immutable and it is of fixed length. Okay, it is a fixed length. Because why it is fixed? We cannot make a change to a string once a string object is created. We saw an example, right? We saw an example. That is why it is of fixed length. The moment you create a string object, you can't modify that string object. and you can't add any characters or delete any characters. Whenever you try to do something, a new string object will be created, and the reference will be pointing to the newly created string object. Okay, newly created string object. That is why you cannot. They are called as immutable, and they are of fixed length. The moment you create, the length of that particular string will be fixed. Okay, that is why they are fixed length. They cannot grow. But string buffer, they are growable and writable character sequences. Say for example, you have Java. Okay, you want to insert some character here, you can do it. It grows as the need arises. Okay, using some method called, one of the method is append. Okay, that method appends whatever the string that you specify as argument to this method to the invoking string. Okay, so it automatically grows to accommodate the additions, whatever the string that you add. Okay, string constructors are empty constructor. You can specify the size. You can initialize the string buffer with the specified string. You can initialize with a character sequence. So I refer to this, what is this particular character sequence. It's of it is interesting. Okay, and then you have different methods of string buffer, that is length. Obviously, it will give the number of characters in that particular string buffer. Capacity. In string buffer, you can specify, while creating the string, you can specify the capacity of a buffer. Okay, this will be used as a string buffer. Okay, it will be used as a string buffer. You can specify how many characters you want to store in this particular string when you immediately after you create it. That is done using the ensure capacity method. Okay, so capacity will give you the allocated capacity using this ensure capacity. There will be default capacity also. Okay, length will give you the number of characters. Okay, these are the signatures of your methods. Ensure capacity, it will return a void. It will not return anything. Okay, you can specify the capacity as an integer here. Okay, set length, you can specify the length, how many characters you want to store. Okay. So there are various other methods. We can look into the methods available in our. I'm not sure whether you can see these things. So interesting things are, if you can see, if you all can see, serializable, char sequence, and comparable. Okay, comparable as yesterday when we discussed, it is a generic type. So here they are passing string. Okay, so here are all the constructors. Refer to this API. Okay, that will be a better idea. Instead of going over all these things, these are all very simple. Okay, instead of going all these constructors, all these methods, a number of methods are there. Okay, instead of going all these things, you can refer to these things. Okay, so here you can see various values of method, overloaded values of method. Okay, here is overloaded values of method. Okay, let us see string buffer and string builder. String buffer, serializable, appendable, and char sequence. So appendable because we can change the characters inside it. Okay, so these are the constructors. So these are different methods. Append is the one method which people will be using quite frequently. Okay, insert. You can insert at the end of the string. Okay, string buffer. Okay, all these methods. You can refer to this API. Online API reference. Okay, string builder. String builder is nothing but it is exactly similar to our string buffer, but only difference is the major difference is it is not synchronized. It is not synchronized. Okay. Synchronized. It is not synchronized. It means not thread safe. For example, say you have one variable. Say for example, you have one particular string. Okay, one particular string. Say, let me take one example. What is synchronization? I'm trying to explain what is synchronization. Okay, you have one particular string. Str is equal to Java. Okay, so assume that there are multiple threads trying to access this and change this. This trying to access this string object and change this. Okay, say thread 1 and thread 2. These are the two threads which are trying to access this string object. Okay, say for example, thread 1 tries to access this and the change wants to change this to anything Java 1. Okay, at the same time this will also try to change it to Java 2. Okay, in between what happens, this thread 1 might have changed it to JAVA. Okay, JA, and then thread 2 will come and change it to JAVA2. Okay, when thread 1 tries to print it wants to print Java 1, not Java 2. Okay, since both are trying to access the string object at the same time, when Java 2 tries to print the value of string str, this will be printed as Java 2 because both are trying to access, and this changes comes before this completes its change. Okay, before this completes its change and print it, this will come. This particular thread will come and change the value of the string to Java 2. And when it tries to print the value, it will print Java 2. When this thread tries to print the value, that will also be printed as Java 2. But this is not what thread 1 wanted. We will discuss about this in detail in our threads or concurrency utilities. Okay, in concurrency threads or concurrency utility session. Okay, so that is why we need to make sure that this shared resource, str is a shared resource, is synchronized. Okay, synchronized. So when you try to synchronize, this shared object, what happens is, even if n number of threads come and try to access it, thread 1, thread 2, thread n. Okay, so whatever the issue that we saw before, right? That is thread 1 will be seeing Java 2. Those things will not happen because as soon as thread 1 tries to access string, all the other threads will not have access to this particular string object. Okay, we are trying to synchronize access to shared resource. Okay, threading will introduce what is known as synchronous behavior. Thread will introduce asynchronous behavior. That is why these kinds of issues will happen. Okay, in order to avoid those issues, we have to synchronize. Okay, we have to synchronize the objects or whatever the shared resources. Okay, so in such cases, what happens? There are different ways of synchronizing a shared resource. We will see all those things. Okay, even in advanced Java, we will see what is a single thread model, all those things. Okay, so when we try to access synchronize. Say for example, you put this particular code in synchronized block. We can create like this. Okay. So assume that this is your string builder. Okay, string builder str, and we will put it in synchronized block. What happens is the moment one particular thread enters this synchronized block, okay, none of other methods can enter into this piece of code. It can run this piece of code. Okay, this is what is called as your monitor or box or semaphore, whatever they call it. Okay, mutex or whatever they call it. We'll discuss about these things in detail in our threads or concurrency session. Okay. So that is what this synchronization does. Okay. So since string and string buffer are synchronized, string and string buffer classes are synchronized, this kind of issues will not happen with string and string buffer classes. Okay. But string builder is not synchronized. Okay. That is why it is not thread safe. When you use string builder in case of threaded applications, okay, in threaded in threaded context. Okay, say for example, you have application which uses a number of threads. In such cases, you cannot use string. This should be builder. Okay, in such cases, you cannot use string builder. You have to use either string or string buffer. Okay. So otherwise, if a particular application is not multi-thread application, you can very well use the string builder. Okay. So that concludes this particular session. Please let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we can conclude this session. Okay. Anyone has any questions? Please try. Please try to experiment with or try to do some exercises. Okay, not exercises. Try to implement whatever the methods. Go through the API documentation. Yeah, Shanti. Yeah, you can always. Yeah, you can try to. I mean, the best way is go through API. Okay, that will you will get all the details about particular API, right? All the details about a particular API, your methods, your class definition, all those things you will get it in that online document. Okay, go through each and every method. Try to understand what exactly each and everything means. Try to implement. All the methods are very simple methods. Very simple methods. Okay, you can implement it very easily. You can test it. Okay, sure. Yeah. Anyone has any other doubts? Please try to implement them. If you have any doubts, please send an email to .training@gmail.com. intuitionjavatraining@gmail.com. Okay. Please let me know if you have any doubts. Okay. Okay then. Yeah. Thanks everyone for attending this session. Have a great evening. Enjoy. Bye bye.